Click Foundation. And I'm going to click number. People answer after. Click Foundation is M-Harris.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am a little bit intimidated by parents' greetings, so I'll just go here. Good afternoon, MEC, HOD, senior management, and if I can follow previous examples and say the protocols observed. It's a great privilege to stand here as a partner in the Eastern Cape and to be here at the launch of the Eastern Cape Reading Strategy. And we look forward to working in collaboration with the Eastern Cape to see where we can assist in delivering the strategy and I think all singing from the same hymn sheet in terms of all learners reading for meaning and calculating with confidence by 2030. So just to clarify on the name, nothing to do with clicks. We have recently actually rebranded as Click Learning, so as to clarify that we're not a grant-making foundation, but we are actually an operational NGO, so Click Learning. So who are we? We are an NGO that works with provincial governments and districts to help underserviced primary schools in South Africa improve foundational literacy, numeracy and digital skills by deploying online programs. In the process, we've also created jobs for youth in the communities who assist in schools with the implementation similar to the teaching assistance previously discussed. A little bit more specifically, what does this mean? So I think technology has many meanings for people, from a WhatsApp chat group to television to sort of PDF documents. For us, when we talk about technology interventions, we're very specifically talking about personalized learning interventions for learners, where it's interactive. There is a lot of data that sits behind it and guides learners on a personalized learning journey. Where software like this is really useful at the moment, given the learning losses we've suffered, it is able to meet a learner at the level where they currently are and bridge some of the gaps in terms of catch-up and allow them to sort of come up to the level that they can actually access the curriculum. So our main focus is on providing learner logins for self-paced learning programs. In order to do this, we assist schools in enabling the environment in terms of devices, connectivity and security, and thereby also improve digital skills. As mentioned, we fund, train and develop facilitators to assist in these schools, and particularly around the technical aspects, so as to not burden the teachers with that side of the implementation. The other side of what comes out of this is that we are able to provide quite a lot of data, and it's an area where we hope to provide more in the coming year in terms of how learners are progressing and achieving in the programs, and also to support and guide the schools with the implementation. Just a quick snapshot of where we are. We're working in 299 schools across the country with 200,000 learners registered on our literacy programs and 27,000 on our numeracy programs. They're accessing these programs through just over 18,000 devices in the field, and through this we've created 714 jobs. In terms of the Eastern Cape, it's our newest province, but we've grown. We started at the end of 2019 with a setback with COVID, but excited to have launched 41 schools in the province and have over 23,000 learners on the literacy programs, and look forward to growing that further in the coming year. I think the main thing to talk about today is how can we partner with the Eastern Cape Department of Education in terms of the strategy and campaign I thought perhaps we'd hear from some of our teachers.
Nope.
Press play on the video. Maybe it's lost it. I'm sure they'll be able to share their experience with you better than I am. Let's move on, because I know it's been a long day for everyone. So I think what I just want to highlight, I think in terms of technology, I think we believe it offers huge potential to support a strategy like this, but it isn't a silver bullet. It is complex to implement, and it needs an integrated strategy, and it's not just about putting devices and connectivity into schools. But from our experience, we are confident that through effective implementation, we can use technology to make a significant difference and improve learner outcomes and ensure that our learners are ready for the future of work and the digital economy. If we talk a little bit about impact and results, what having connected schools has enabled us to do is to also start looking at digital assessments. And we've looked at the results of 14,000 learners that we tested at the end of 2019 through what we call our equals. And we've seen significant improvement in results of over 12% in terms of learners who have used the program versus those who haven't used the program. So I think there further work and examination that we want to do in terms of the impact results, but also wanted to highlight the use of digital testing tools that could also be rolled out at scale in schools to support the assessment. So when I read through the objectives of the reading in the strategy document, and I won't reread them, but a lot of the things that came through were around reading for enjoyment, resources, preparing learners for the digital age. So in terms of interventions like this, where I think we can support the department is these interventions are fun and interactive, as you can see from the visual here. They contain thousands of activities and resources, and as I said previously, they enable us to sort of teach at the right level and meet learners where they are in their learning journey, and hopefully bridge the gap that has been created, particularly now on the back of COVID. More specifically, where can we assist enabling schools? We have learned a lot in connecting 300 schools with working computers, where for 6 hours of the day we've got 18,000 computers with learners in front of them learning almost non-stop through the school day.
That's nice. Thank you.
We have experience in implementing online self-paced learning programs, and I think there's room for greater collaboration on that, and I think it extends to using those resources that are already in schools for teachers, allowing access to programs like the Teaching Academy and other offerings that are available. Selecting digital programs. With the structure that we've now created in terms of using the e-quiz, which we'll now use as a baseline in all schools and test each year, we know that there are a lot of programs that are out there. We certainly get approached by lots of product providers wanting us to look at their programs. And I think we are able to work with the department on a framework to try and select which product in which circumstances will deliver the best results for learners. And this is just a handful of products that have come our way so far. I mentioned our online assessment. I saw a very strong focus on assessment and in-school assessment in the reading strategy. Again, I think there's room for digital assessments to possibly assist teachers, reduce the time required for testing to free them up to spend time teaching. And again, I'm very happy to look at ways that can be used further. And again, we have just 3 photos of some of our facilitators. Again, I think these extra resources into the schools, particularly in our context around supporting the technology and the, ensuring the hardware is kept safe, working, and that the technical aspects are looked after so as not to put additional burdens onto the teachers. Again, I think there's lots of opportunity to collaborate on those aspects as well. So that's all from me. Thank you.
A big round of applause for Zenos. Thank you very much. I hope that you are noting these areas of collaboration. I think we also need to collate all these initiatives into one report and also maybe map it so that we have got a geospatial arrangement, so to see where things are happening and where they are not happening, and also maybe link it with districts that we know that have got serious challenges. For instance, if you know that the Ower Tambo coastal is highly populated, Ower Tambo inland, highly populated, Alfred's East is a highly populated district. So with greater numbers of grade 12, you get them in Alfred's coastal, Ower Tambo coastal, followed by Ower Tambo inland, and then your Nelson Mandela and your Buffalo City. But in the rural part, is everything going right at the primary level? So I think it's something that we need to look into in terms of these partnerships as they are presented. Zenos Foundation. Represented by Ms. F. Sayu. Where is the name? Oh, yes. A big round of applause.
MEC, HOD, the senior management of the district, ukuze ndingabhudi ingqondo nentsibazayo. Ngalemva kwemini mandinibulise. HOD, the beauty of speaking at this time when everyone is so exhausted and you know that most of the speaking is going to be a repetition of the previous speaker, is the fact that I'm not going to take the allocated 10 minutes. I'm going to speak for much, much less. Firstly, I just want to quickly introduce who the Zenos Foundation is. We are a grant maker that is based in Gauteng. We have been in operation since 1994. We focus specifically on improving literacy and mathematics outcomes in South Africa within the schooling system. And our approach is very much evidence-based. We do monitoring and evaluation of all our interventions. And for us, the commitment is on sustainable change. So just briefly about what we do as the Zenex Foundation, we took a focused approach in saying that we are not working throughout the schooling system. So we work in the early grades. Our projects start from grade R up to grade 4, and we work in the senior phase, specifically in grades 8 and 9. As I've already said, we are focusing on mathematics and languages. We work with school managers, teachers, both in service and ITE, and we work in 4 provinces specifically, and Eastern Cape is one of our core provinces, and we've been having interventions in the Eastern Cape since our inception in 1994, and we have been moving forward with the changing strategies both in the province and also at the Zenex Foundation, and most of our work that is at the national level is mostly for systemic projects that are led by the Department of Education. Otherwise, our target provinces is Gauteng, Western Cape, Eastern Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal. You asked us about what role we wanted to play in the reading strategy of the province. And to be quite honest, when I looked into the brochure that you provided, I actually thought we could deal with. I do not have much to say, because when Ms. Genevieve was listing the 10 strands, I looked at the work that is done by the Zenex Foundation, and about 80% of those strands are some of our core areas. So the work that we are launching this afternoon, or today I should say, is very aligned to the work that we are doing as the Zenex Foundation. So there is not a need for me to repeat much of the work that we are doing today. And I will just say that we agree with all the assumptions that have been tabled here by both the launch of the, and also by the speakers that were speaking this morning in front of me. And we agree that reading for meaning is a necessary condition for all. And based on all the assumptions that are listed here, and some that are not even here, but that you all know, we are saying that as the next for this strategic period, we have looked into a 4-pronged approach in dealing with the reading outcomes, specifically in the phases that we work with. The first one is we are funding, Fundawale is one of the interventions that we fund, or the organizations that we fund in making sure that these outcomes are in place. But some of them is the fact that we are developing quality readers, fiction and non-fiction, that are graded through the ULA's Reading Project, that are there to enable teaching in the classroom. We are also working with lots of interventions here in the Eastern Cape, some with the Nelson Mandela Institute. I'm not going to go through the interventions, even though I've got a slide for them. But we've got professional development where we work with in-service teachers, dealing specifically with issues of literacy and also numeracy in both the early grades and the senior phase. We work with promoting best practices, specifically in focusing on African language reading for initial teacher education. And also, Mpumi has spoken about the benchmarks. I'm not going to go into detail in that, but we have partnered as well with the DBE in making sure that the benchmarks come into effect as a guide in working with our teachers in the early grades. So that's basically the 4-pronged approach. And in that 4-pronged approach, if I was going to go into the detail, you will see what I'm talking about as being involved in 80% of the strands that we have actually listed here this afternoon. I'm not going to go through the work that we're doing in the Eastern Cape, but this is just work that is happening currently, which I can share with the HOD. As you can see, specific focus in mathematics and languages. Just to conclude, the message that we are bringing this afternoon is the fact that we also do not believe that there is any magic bullet, as the speaker just left saying. But we, as the Zenex Foundation, we want to say we are willing and we are committed to work hand in hand and also walk side by side with the ECDOE and also our other stakeholders that are in the room and some that are not here in improving their reading outcomes. We have just come to say we are committed We want to work with you, and we also recognize that our education system is actually at a time of need, specifically in the improvement of our long-term endeavors. Thank you very much.
A big round of applause. One of the documents that they produced is an explanation. It's on the learning backlogs. And it's very critical if, for instance, we want to address the current challenge that we have in the education system, especially in our province. Just the analysis that we've done, just taking 5 years from 2017 to 2021 in terms of grade 12, we looked at the enrollment when the learners who were doing grade 12 in 2017, how many were they when they started in grade 1? And we discovered that that grade 12 cohort of 2017, there were 189,000 when they started in grade 1, 12 years going backwards. But in 2017, we had only 69,000 in grade 12. So in the whole system, we had lost more than 100,000, 120,000. Others have dropped out, others are repeating, others have phenomenon of progress learner, others are dropping out altogether. So when you look at 2021, we discovered that at least we have improved. Although the grade 1 group 2021 was a bit lower, but it was around 180 or 179. But we had at least a higher number for grade 12, which is about 98, very close to 100,000. But still, we have lost about 70,000 even then last year. This year we have 121,500 learners that have registered for grade 12. But I've not looked at who 12 years going backwards until now. Now that study, that's the next foundation, is so critical to identify these learning backlogs that must be closed, such that when you get if you have 200,000 learners in grade 1, that line must move straight like this. The 200 that you start with in grade 1, after 12 years you must get it, but not less than 90%. And if you get 90%, you must also be able to account for the 10% OP. You must begin to say that 10% they were grant towards technical, towards vocational, others they went to the schools of skills, and so on and so on. But at the end of that, we must be able to account for all of them, those who started in grade 1. So I think that study is going to help us in that regard. Where do we plug as learning backlogs, such that these learners are able to complete their schooling within 12 years? So that's what we need to be working on. So thanks a lot as an explanation for the presentation. We are now going to call upon our social partners. They are always with us. How long because they've got an interest in this, because the labor unions as a representative educators in the province. Okay. Sis Gwen, Can you then please come forward? Asimethe izandla. Okay.
Magwela.
Akayo natsika ngalo yena. Akalo boss. Uneke boost engafani ncam amagosa mosalahla. So uya addressa.
Enkosi Mhlonitshi, andingo-Deputy Secretary weSATU, Education Commissioner of the Province SATU, ndilungiselelonto. The Program Director, Bishop Mbete in absentia, Minister of Education, Honorable Fundile Gade, we used to call him Blex. The Chairperson of the Education Portfolio Committee, Honorable Sanziwa, Head of Department, Mr. Kwase, Deputy Minister of Education in absentia, Dr. Mhlaule, and all department officials in your designated seats. Sister unions and all delegates to this launch, we greet you all in the name of People's Education for People's Power. For that, in the name of Christ. Amen. For starters, let me render my utmost heartfelt gratitude for this opportunity afforded to these teacher unions as social partners to be amongst the midst, especially to speak on behalf of us all. You would remember we would say nothing about us without us and for us. We rise to appreciate the invitation in this strategy. The department has initiated of prioritizing reading and also devise strategies and means to improve reading within our sector. I speak from a better pedestal of being a teacher. Indeed, allow me to say you have shot it in the bull's eye. As we all know that COVID-19 has put more pressure and challenges and further eroded much of time and space that could be utilized to improve the phenomenon. Reading has been and still a tremendous challenge prior COVID and currently. It is an elephant in the house. We hope and wish amongst the strategies that will be unpacked today, as trade unionists, we pledge to be in the venture of capacitating and implementing the way forward for this launch, as we are in the journey of training educators on unplugged and plugged coding and robotics. We should note that seriously the challenges we encounter as far as assessment and assessing for learning is concerned. We strongly appeal to the Department of Education to work with us in getting assessment strategies better, and you juxtapose what you are saying with what was raised by the Minister of Education, National Minister of Education, yesterday's virtual meeting. I quote, open quotes, all learners in schools are behind by a term and a quarter. For argument's sake, she further said a grade 4 learner in essence is a grade 3 learner. Close quotes. In 3rd October 2022. Health said it is paramount to develop strong reading skills in learners, as it is one of the key goals of every early education programs. For a learner to be able to requisite a meaningful learning, one needs to be a strong reader, read with meaning, comprehend what one reads. We believe that a child is raised by a village. We therefore strongly say that it is very paramount and very important for all stakeholders to be in the same boat when we speak of reading. How can we do that? We are recommending in this gathering that let's go back to basics. Parents to read for their children, listen for their children when reading, give them space to explain what they are reading. We used to go and for storytelling, listen to Info Namabali around a fire. Go back to spelling bees and read it, which is it is the enrichment in class. Can be another form of enrichment is spelling bees. Bring back classroom libraries, teachers, principals who are here. Department, I think you should revisit accessibility of those mobile libraries to schools. Eastern Cape Department provides zero-rated electric books to schools. We further recommend that intergovernmental departments of collaboration, for argument's sake, we speak of advocacy in the Department of Education, of health, when they speak with parents, when give them information on how to manage someone, on how to, like they speak of breast cancer, they read for them, let them read the information. Steve Biko has this to say, open quotes, a black man should be more independent and depend on himself for his freedom, and not to take it for granted that someone would lead him to it. Blacks are tired of standing on touch lines to witness the games, and they should be playing that they want to do things for themselves, close quotes. Hence we say, as people of South Africa, let's join hands, unite and fight the pandemic of learner being unable to read. It is against this background that as trade unions, we have joint ventures with schools that every Friday of every week is drop on and read for an hour. We wish to humbly request the Department of Education to intensify monitoring the implementation by schools of drop on and read. We also encourage our educators to allow learners to read, and also read as if there's no tomorrow, for enjoyment, of course. We also, Department of Education, request to assist schools to train young librarians so that they can be capacitated and assist in this process of borrowing and bringing back the school. Siyabulela, Inkosi.
Thank you very much, thank you very much, leaders of the labor unions that are working with us. And in every session that we organize, they're always there. Because there's a lot of depth on what is happening or not happening. Thank you very much as well, and the leadership at large of the labor unions that are here. I like that Friday thing, that campaign. Yeah. Popular campaign. We must own up to that initiative as a collective of all the partners in the province. See profile. We market it, but as part of the things that we have to take home out of this launch, that's one of the issues that we need to take home and see how we can take it forward. I want to open up a little bit, just few comments, because only we're just short of coming to the altar to confess your sins. But I would like to change the environment. Can we have an engagement? Having developed the strategy, it needs implementation tomorrow. and other partners have already started. And we can't convert this session and a number of people showcase our pioneering spirit as they stay here, and then we go back and relax. Any takers? I see a hand there. Any further hands? I know you are. Abanye abantu bafana nabantu baka-0-5. Fana ku-early childhood development between 0 to 5. There's stimulation. It happens at that level, at that stage. So I can see our stimulation. They must be stimulated by another person. They then raise their hands. So number 2, and number 3, number 1 now, number 2 now, number 3 part. In that order.
Thank you, Dr. Kwasi. My name is Tapelo Legema. I come from Joka, specifically in Mount Fletcher. I would like to check with the Department of Education in the Eastern Cape, or to give them a provision as to what commitment is the department making in making sure that Sesotho as a language of learning and teaching in the foundation phase and as a subject in the intermediate until FET is being promoted.